Hello everyone and welcome to the 31st episode of the Little Thespian Podcast. On today's episode, we talk to an incredibly gifted actor, singer, and all-around great human being. His name is Emilio Ferriera. So without further ado, let's hop in to episode 31 of the Little Thespian Podcast with Emilio. Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to the 31st episode of the Little Thespian Podcast. We have a gem of a human being today, a great actor, singer, and all-around just awesome human being. His name is Emilio Ferriera. How are you, bud? It's been a minute, but I'm so glad to have you on.
Thank you. Well, with an introduction like that, I'm amazing. So thanks.
No problem at all, man. And I'm so happy to have you on. It's crazy, 31 episodes. I still cannot believe it. And the amazing support that everyone continues to give the show. Thank you guys. And I hope to have on some more amazing guests coming soon. And you guys keep asking for Terry. And believe me, I want to have Terry on, but I don't think an hour is a significant amount of time to talk to a man that's that amazing.
Really an introduction.
Literally. Yeah, and we're going to have a great time today, guys, on the 31st episode with Emilio. But as with every episode, I need to say, guys, wear a mask, wash your hands, and we can just socially distance. Fortunately, we are still dealing with COVID. I know we don't want to, but we still are dealing with COVID a year later. But please do your part, guys. I shouldn't have to keep saying it, but here I am on the 31st episode, still saying it, and I'm going to continue to say it until COVID is gone, which is hopefully soon. Yeah, so on that note, let's move on to something a bit more light and bright, which is that of the Little Thespian Podcast with Emilio. So the first question, as per every Little Thespian Podcast, how exactly did you get into the arts?
I was 8 years old. My mom was sitting on the balcony in the middle of spring, and she's like on her computer outside her laptop, and she's like, "Do you want to do theater camp?" And I was like, "Okay." I didn't even think about it, and I was like, "Okay." So I went and I started at Cabaret Kids Theater when I was a little kid, and like immediately I fell in love with it, and I excelled really quickly as a kid, and the director had put me with the older kids and everything, so I felt a lot more confident about acting, and it just took off from then, man. Then in high school, I joined the theater program at John Rennie, excellent program of Actor Studio. I formed a really deep connection, great connection with my director, Prateep Menon. Dope guy, love him, still keep in touch, and that definitely propelled me to join the John Abbott Theater program, which was some of the best years of my life, and I'll never forget that program. which is excellent. Excellent program, man. Great staff too.
Well, yeah, no, like I always talk about the Abbott Theater Department because, I mean, I feel like it shaped me as an actor completely. And it's the thing that like I've been saying on the podcast for a very long time, that you either find the passion very early in life, or you watch a show and then everything just comes into fruition. And I mean, that's the thing. Like
Yeah.
at eight, you usually don't know what you want to do with most of the rest of your life, but you did Cabaret Kids, and then boom, everything.
Yeah. I joined your winter program too, so I was doing it every year. It's like, so God bless my mother for being on her laptop that day. I also would have, not known what I wanted to do with my life, probably. Because I've known since then that this is what I'm doing, like 100%.
That's incredible, man. And like me, it started in high school, but like I know a lot of people, it either starts like it could start very, very young. Like you go see a theater play or like a ballet or something, and then immediately this is what I want to do. But like it's crazy that she was on her laptop that day. At that time, you want to do theater? Yeah, sure, why not? And now
I
look
didn't
at you.
even like think about it. I think most kids would be like, no, like, but I just didn't even think about it. I was like indifferent. I was like, okay, just like, okay, sure, why not? I'm really happy about that. She got me into a lot of things. She got me into basketball too. Like she got me into like one of my favorite sports. She's like, you're going to basketball, and I was so devastated. I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I was crying, but now I play it every single day when I can. So.
That's great, man. And like that's the thing too. Like we, at least me and you, I know we kind of started in like we love sports, right? And then we kind of have this thing with acting that a lot of people think of it as more like we're athletes too in a way. But I know they kind of put that in, and we talk about that a lot. Like we're athletes because we have to keep everything, like doing everything all the time. You know what I mean? Like with
thespians, you mean, right?
Sorry?
Thespians, you mean, are athletes. So
exactly.
Absolutely. Thespians are athletes. Like, especially if you go to the top level of Broadway, these guys are more athletic than like some pro athletes in sports. It's incredible. You have to keep your body in shape, your voice in shape. Like, it's strenuous, man. Like, just, I don't know about you, but I don't know if you had a nice 3-hour movement class when Zach took things really seriously. It was like, all right, we're doing this. Dead. I was dead after class. Even the warm-ups were tough.
Well, Anana's warm-ups on Fridays or Thursdays or whatnot. My God. I think it was a Friday for me because then like the weekend we kind of had to recuperate. Because we did mime stuff and whatnot, and then like all your joints, your entire body was sore after it, and you're like,
we take for granted how athletic our teachers are. And first of all, they're like double our age, and they're like way more flexible and athletic than we are. It's awesome.
It is. And I mean, that's the thing, just to circle back about the theater department at Abbott, man, it's incredible. The amount of amazing faculty the John Abbott Theater Department has, the wisdom that these teachers have are incredible. I had Alicia on here. That woman knows every play that's pretty much ever written. It's crazy.
What a lovely woman. What a lovely teacher that was. She put up with some of my crap for a bit. It's kind of shit disturb her in class here and there. But I love her, and I have a lot of respect for Alicia. She's a genius.
She is. I actually want to talk about one of your shows right off the bat. So you played Smee in Peter and the Starcatcher.
Yes.
How was that experience? One, it's an iconic character from Captain Hook.
Yes.
With Captain Hook, and you got to play alongside Jeremy Lewis, who did an amazing job as Statch.
Oh my God.
And I wanted to kind of get your outlook on that show because, I mean, that was your last show at Abbott.
Yeah, well, only beautiful experiences with that show, man. That was the greatest show that I've ever performed in my entire life. I performed in like a few dozen shows. Like, I cannot replicate that experience. Playing Smee was incredible and unexpected. I wasn't even auditioning going for Smee. I wanted to play Peter at first, and I then later found out that like being Smee was the best. but then we auditioned in groups. It wasn't individual auditions. So Rob was like, okay, in this scene, Emilio, can you read for Smee? And like Jeremy read for Stash, blah, blah, blah. And Oliver read for Boy. We all ended up getting those roles. And like, I just read his lines, and right there, I morphed into his character. And like, I just felt like I would get it because of the response I was getting. I was like, wow, this is such a fun character. Like, I would actually really like to play him. And then as I got the role, and as we got into rehearsals, like, we just formed such a deep connection as a class, especially Jeremy and I, because we're constantly on stage together. And we put in like at least 600 hours in class and out of class in 6 weeks of rehearsals, or 8 weeks, I think. And like, I've never loved playing a character more in my life. There is a bootleg, and watching it made me realize that it is one of the greatest shows I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen like at least 100 plays, like professional to amateur, Broadway, Toronto, Stratford, off Broadway, like everything. I was like, wow. Like, I don't toot my own horn, but we killed it. Like, we killed that play. And forget the acting right now, the tech and design was outstanding. And it wasn't even all over the place, so many things. It was kind of minimalistic, but it was so well done. These kids are professionals at what they do already. The costume, the lighting, everything. Oh my God. They're great. They're great. I always have to credit them, because without them, the show would not be the same. It would be a lot more black boxy, which would still be great. Still be a great show, but without them, it wouldn't have been the same caliber that it was. And I'm so blessed to create such a deep connection with my ensemble. It was such an ensemble-oriented play, and we just delivered. We also, I'm just gonna promote my class here. We also broke, I think, the ticket sales record for John Abbott's when we were performing. So, good job, guys. I love you.
Honestly, man, like, there's nothing to add to that. Your class is incredibly talented. And I knew that from like you guys in first year.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are beyond talented, and I mean, that show, my God. And I'm not surprised that you guys broke ticket sales. I'm really not. I mean, Peter and the Starcatcher, it's based on something that many people love, right? And then you got to play an iconic character, and I can't see anyone else doing it, man. As much as you didn't go for it, now that's in my mind.
I'm so happy I got it, you know?
But like, bro, it's that show, and it's true. I mean, to kind of say everything in regards to tech and design, man, the show was kind of minimalistic in a way, but also so extravagant, and just brought you into the world from the get-go. I remember going in and being like, holy crap.
Thank
you. And it never ceases to amaze me, because I mean, the Abbott department, all 3 sectors, all the time, man, are just shooting over their class all the time. Like, professional shows happen at Abbott. As much as it is a school, it doesn't seem like a school when we put on anything.
No, never does. Almost every single show we've done in our department does not seem like a school, ever. You know. But you asked about Jeremy, by the way. Without Jeremy, I don't think I would have the same type of performance that I did, because he is the ultimate scene partner, ultimate stage partner. He's one of my best friends. He's my brother, this kid. And like, we just worked so hard together, and he had so much faith in me. And like, there were times where I like doubted myself, and he's like, this guy just brought me back up, and we brought each other up, honestly. And like, I just want to shout this kid out. He is one of the greatest actors I've ever worked with in my entire life. And I love him to death. And I wish him all the best, and he deserves it more than anybody I know to be in the National Theatre School right now.
Yeah, I mean, not to really add to that, because I mean, incredibly said, Emilio, but I mean, Jeremy, man, just the fact that he can also say so many lines in Faustus and know them by heart. The man literally is like,
that's another story.
Like, that's insane. And like, the man, he can just transform. He's such a presence on stage, and it's not because of his height, it's not because of any of that, but he commands the stage. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Without
From
even asking.
start to finish. Even if he has
Without
the smallest role, which I mean, Faustus was a huge role. Don't get me wrong,
yeah.
huge role, but like, my God, like just so captivating. And with you and him, just the dynamic, man. It's a dynamic duo. It's a
Thank you.
dynamic duo.
Thank you. Appreciate that so much. That means a lot to me because I really cherish the show so much.
Yeah, and I wish you guys can put it on again, man.
Oh my God, I would put it on another 50 times. I promise you, I would. In a row too. 50 days in a row, I would. I
And
swear.
I feel like Abbott, like hopefully they can get more rights because I know we were meant to do Poppins, and
That's the hard.
that was sold out. Shit was Peter and the
That's
Starcatcher sold out. I remember I went and sold out, and I'm like, wow, like crazy guys.
But especially Peter and the Starcatcher, the rights were like impossible. They're so expensive, man. It's also, well, look, one, it's Disney, and two, it's like this decade it was made. It was made this decade. It's not like it's like Pride and Prejudice, you know?
Right.
Like, but it's new. It's very new, and I understand. But I just wish it wasn't like that, you know? Because then we'd all have our own professionally filmed version, and like it would have just. But even if we did, you can't film theater. You just can't. Even if you have the greatest camera, the greatest cameramen, the best editors, you cannot replicate the experience of theater on camera, no matter what. No matter what.
And like, I have so many DVDs upstairs from like shows I've been in. Mm-hmm. It's not the same. It's not. Especially, and we were just talking about Faustus, and I'll jump into that next because, I mean, bro, incredible production, and you got to play an incredible character. I'm sorry, several incredible characters. But that was the thing, bro. Like, you're not in the audience, right? And you're meant to be in the audience and kind of feeling with these characters. By you having kind of just one view of it, is it meant to be? At least not in theater.
Mm-mm. No, you're right. That's why, like, it has the edge over me, and it, like, compared to film. Mm-hmm. There's nothing like performing on stage and watching it, compared to a movie. I find personally.
Which is why it's so weird now too, bro, with like Zoom and whatnot, and trying to do theater over Zoom. It's so different. It's so weird. Yeah. It's so weird. But let's hop into Faustus. So you played several characters in Faustus, yes, and you got to play alongside both second years and third years. How was playing in Faustus for you, and playing so many different characters in such a weird fantasy type play? Because, I mean, you got dragged to hell. Many other things happened in that play. And you cut off Jeremy's head, which is weird.
I did cut off Jeremy's head.
But it was so funny and such an amazing show. So what exactly did you think about Faustus, now looking back?
Well, I was in second year, and obviously you were in third year. And before going in, I was very slightly intimidated because, I was like, oh my God, the third years are in this show. No. But like, it turned out I already knew most of you. They're really nice. And like, you're still great actors. So it didn't intimidate me. It actually motivated me. And like, specifically, like, you, man, you were great. You're great. Because like, when I watched you during rehearsals, I was like, it made me feel more comfortable to express more and be more vulnerable as an actor, because you are a very, very vulnerable actor. And like, that actually motivated me to be the same. So I want you to know that. I never told you that, but it's true. And I wouldn't say it if it's not true. But overall, that experience, man, was really fun. Like, at first it was difficult because of the language barrier. It is a 500-year-old, not Shakespearean, Christopher Marlowe era English. So I had a lot of translation to do. Alicia even helped me out with that. But the show was awesome, man. Once I learned like what everything meant, what a genius show, especially something that was written 500 years ago. Working with your class and my class was so fun. Like, okay, talk about like a set. That's one of the craziest sets I've ever seen in my life. And like, I'll never forget that show, honestly, because it's definitely the most extravagant show I've ever done. Definitely the most extravagant show I've ever done. And very exciting to perform in and to watch even.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for those kind words. Um, I never thought of myself as vulnerable
I
when
see
it
it.
comes to acting. But I guess that show really allowed me to be vulnerable. I mean,
Yeah,
the
for
fact
one.
that I didn't have a shirt on for 95% of the show probably made it a bit easier. Um, but yeah, bro, like, thank you. And that's the thing, like, with playing so many characters and having an extravagant set like we did, I didn't know much about Christopher Marlowe beforehand. I was kind of always into Shakespeare,
It did.
right? And like Marlowe is just a whole different outlook on things and different type of writing. And I got to play one character that like really didn't know English as it that well either. He had a Cockney accent, but he allowed like
Oh my
this. It was so weird to kind of
God.
put those two together. Um, but that's the thing. Like it can be the most over the top show, but when you have an amazing cast like we did, because my God, our cast
Was
from
so
start to finish, man, incredible. And I look back at it now and like all second years firing completely just towards the goal, an amazing piece. All third years just trying to do their best on their last show.
that's what it is.
Um, and that's the thing, like every time was different with that show because we got to play with the audience so much more and it's so fun to do.
Love that. I love that.
And like we got to be like over the top, like sexual because Jason.
Yeah,
Um,
because Jason. Because Jason, period. What a great guy.
but yeah, it was just so much fun, bro. And like that's the thing. Like theater's meant to be fun. And especially in this show where it is tragic, very tragic of what happens to Faustus, but also very comedic at certain times.
Yeah, I
And
mean, like he did it to himself, honestly. You know?
he did. And that's the thing. Like you have these moments of, oh my God, I feel bad for him, but then you're like, no, he's a bit of a shit. He's
Yeah, honestly though, but another shout out to Jeremy. That's when you know you're an excellent actor is when you play a bad guy, not a bad guy, a bad guy, but you still find a way for the audience to sympathize with you.
Yeah.
Even if the script calls for it, like you have to have the chops for that. You know what I mean? Even if the character calls for the audience to sympathize for him, if you don't have the chops for that, they just won't. You know what I mean? But another shout out to Jeremy there.
And like that's the thing, bro. Like so many layers Faustus has. Like so many layers.
Yeah.
And Jeremy hit all those layers in that show. Because at the beginning you're like, oh, very sophisticated. And then at the end you're like, okay, no, he's like disheveled old man, game set match, he's done. You know what I mean? Like he put everything out every show he did.
But honestly, everybody did. Every single person did in that show. Everybody did. All your class, all of my class did a great job. Did a great job. Super talented years.
And to talk about years and stuff that's hopefully hopefully many more people are listening to the podcast. I want to jump in to theater. I want to get your words of wisdom for someone who may want to jump into theater but might be scared to do so.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people actually. Do you know how many people I've met that do like things besides acting, and they're like, man, I always wanted to do acting, or like I really liked drama class, or like I wanted to be an actor but I was scared, or the worst of all I hear is like my parents don't want me to be. But for somebody that's scared, my number one piece of advice would be that people are too invested in themselves. Most people are too invested in themselves to judge you. And if somebody does judge you, they're below the earth, to be honest. And something you have to realize as an actor, and this is something you only realize with time, is when you watch other actors and when you go up there, is that how you feel up there is how we will feel down watching you. So if you go in feeling insecure and like people are going to judge you or hesitant, when we watch, we're going to feel like insecure and like we're going to empathize with you a little bit, but like we're going to want you to like feel confident. If you go up there and feel confident, everybody's going to love you. You know what I mean? And if you do your best and you just believe in yourself, everyone's going to love you. No one has any reason to shit on you or judge you if you go up there with confidence. Never. And you believe in yourself. People love that. People want to see that. People want you to do the best when they watch theater. That's just how it works, really. Like when you go up on stage, when you're about to hear somebody sing, or you're about to see somebody act, you're like, oh, please be good. Or like not even be good, just like, please, like just believe in yourself. Because everybody wants to see that, you know? And especially in the theater, in my experience, most people don't want you to fail. And of course, there are people that do, but that's like everything in life. Those people are they're just scum, you know? But another thing I would say to somebody who's scared is that you don't want to regret missing out on a beautiful opportunity, because the theater is the most beautiful thing I've ever discovered in my life. So it's just a place for you to play and be vulnerable, and everybody's here for you. Your ensemble is here for you at all times. And if you fall into like worst case scenario, you fall into a group that's just judgy or whatever, there's thousands of acting outlets, you know? A lot more people want to support you than don't. So just remember that.
Incredible. And like a lot of this stuff, like usually when I talk about words of wisdom on here, like every guest just speaks so beautifully. I think it's because I talk to actors and like we're known to, you know, speak. But that's the thing, bro. Like, yeah, wonderfully put. And that's the thing. Like no one wants to see you fail. They've also hopefully bought in a ticket to come see you, right?
Exactly.
And that's the thing. Like the more you're gonna be scared. We're still scared. Actors are scared, guys. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
We are human.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah.
And what we need to do, I think it was Andy that said this to me, or it might have been Terry or Rob. They said that use the scared part of you, because
yes.
I mean that's the thing. We're gonna be scared. Scared only means that you care. That's all it means. And especially in theater, it's kind of this career of passion is what we've been talking about. Because if you're not passionate about theater, you're not going to do theater. You're not going to do acting. If you're not passionate about it, it's not lucrative, guys, unfortunately.
Yeah, you have to love it, honestly.
So like, and like if you're that invested into it and you're scared about opening up, that's what these classes are for, right?
Yeah,
if you love storytelling and whatnot, that's basically what our job is telling stories. And that's the thing, like you're not really going to know until you take the leap, is what I've been saying on here. So I don't know, I'm just take the leap, guys. And again, you have so many outlets,
yeah.
especially in Montreal, because you have several workshops, several places to study, whether it be Dawson, Abbott, Concordia, McGill. Keep going, you know what I mean? But yeah,
theater companies where you don't even need experience. There's many theater companies where you don't need experience, and like obviously they need to accept you if you audition. Like you don't need to be a professional to get in, you know? There's so many companies like that. And yeah, you're right. That's a great point you make.
Yeah. So I actually want to talk about acting with you. So what has been your favorite part now looking back at Abbott? What was your favorite thing that you learned, whether it be clown, whether it be mime? What was your favorite one thing that you did there?
Let me tell you, there's a lot that are like very equal, but I'll just give you one thing for sure. But oh my God, now you're making me think about everything I learned. And it's just, I'm so happy I did this program. You know, I was this close to being at Dawson, which is great. No shade to Dawson, but like, I wouldn't have had the experience I had at Abbott if I went. Sorry to just like to veer off from your question, but I'll be right back. When I auditioned for Abbott, I had also auditioned for Dawson, and I got into both. I was so indecisive that I accepted both. And on the first day of school at Abbott, I had not canceled my Dawson acceptance. So I was in class with the first day of school with my new ensemble. And I get a Snapchat from one of my friends who's in the Dawson program with a list of everyone in class, all their names, and just my name. And she's like, "Where are you?" I was like, "Yeah, I got into Dawson." But yeah. So what my favorite thing at Abbott, or at least one of my favorite things, had to be Clown with Tracy Lee. She is sick. I love this woman. She's tough. You know, I'm not gonna lie. First year, I was kind of scared of her. I was really scared of her. Not gonna lie. First year, I went upstage. I was like, oh no, I have to impress her. You know, and like it kind of like hindered my acting like skills and like, but she really pushed me. I find, and like in Clown, I just freed up so much. I invented this. It's supposed to be from your childhood. This character called Freg, Freg, and like I just soared with that guy, man. It was the best. She really helped me find him and like have so much fun. And like I kept the clown nose in my jacket pocket forever. So much to a point where I lost. You know, when you go clubbing, you leave your jacket in, and like they give you a ticket.
Yeah.
I lost my ticket, and like I went to the jacket place, and I waited an hour as everybody got their jacket. And she's like, "Is this your jacket?" I'm like, "Yes." She's like, "What's inside?" It's like, "My keys, a clown nose." And she's like, "She pulls out a fucking clown nose." I was like, "Yes." Thank you, Tracy Lee. I got my jacket back. Man, that was great. You saw the clown performances, right? Did you end up? My class is hilarious. It is so good, but it was so fun because we were always interacting with each other in like a different way, and we loved it so much that like I think I even made like a clown group chat, but it didn't last. Like I said, you guys can only answer in this group chat if your clown nose is on, and like you are in your clown. But I don't know. For people who are watching, the clown we learned, I forgot the title of it, but it's supposed to come from your inner child, and you're supposed to develop this clown from the way you were as a kid, but not exactly how you were as a kid, right? It's just it comes from there, it roots from there. But oh man, just so much fun and imagination and like ridiculousness. I think that's some of the most fun I've ever had in the program was clown.
I mean, Tracy Lee, I've said her name on this podcast so often. It's true. At the beginning, she seems very scary. To go back to where we were. But that's the thing, bro. Like, you kind of need to have that presence with her and to just kind of play with a clown, bro. Like, I never thought we'd do clown. I never thought clown was going to be a thing in theater, right? I'm like, clown, what?
Yeah.
When we're actually having red nose, what? Am I in a circus? Like, what's happening? But my God, like at the beginning, I've said I don't think I needed to have so much clown, but I'm so glad that we got the experience to be doing clown. You know what I mean? Like, there's something about it that's so different than we do at any point in the program. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the fact that you kind of like go through this journey with like barely even speaking in English.
Yes,
I don't know if it's just kind of being out there and whatever happens.
Yeah.
Because that's the best part about theater, when nothing is expected. You go and you just do it. And I know that when we did Faustus, just to go back, I remember Jason kind of said, well, you guys just do something and we'll come back to it. You know what I mean? They kind of improvise. And that was all clown was, right? It was kind of, you go out and you do something. You're just, oh, we have an object. Great. Let's make it talk, because we did that in voice too. I don't know if you guys did, but we have an object. Okay, what happens if it were to have a voice? But like,
I don't think we did that.
It was so much fun. Cool. It was so weird.
I'm sure.
But
it's always weird.
Yeah, Tracy Lee, bro, incredible.
It's always weird. Everything we do is weird. It's amazing.
Exactly. I mean, we're meant to be those weird people.
And I love it.
And especially at Abbott, like, bro, I don't care if I'm seen as weird. I
No, you
love this thing so much, bro.
absolutely should not.
Exactly. And like,
You are, sorry, continue.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, you are one of the few people who are fortunate enough to know exactly what you're looking for. And it's exactly what you're looking for. And it's so sad when in my 3-year like tenure at Abbott, I heard so many kids like not wanting to be in the program they're in, either because they were just lost or because their parents forced them to. That's the worst part. And it's like, I hear so many people talking bad about our program, not our program, but like the stereotypes of being a theater kid. And it's like, you don't know what this program is about, first of all. And like, we're all in something we're very passionate about. And it should be even more impressive given that statistically speaking, most people who pursue this industry don't make it. But to me, making it is pursuing and living something that you love doing. You know what I mean? It's pursuing your passion and turning your passion into your career, whether you make a lot or a little. To me, that doesn't matter, honestly. Like, fame is not the fame for me. Broadway, all these things. Yeah, it's the goal, but it's not the answer. You know what I mean? I would be so happy if I just found a way to live my life surrounded by the arts. That's my goal, to be honest.
I mean,
That's what I want to say. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, no. I mean, amazing, man. And like, that's the thing. It's true. A lot of us don't get to really pursue the passion because there's always an obstacle in front of us. And I mean, that's the thing with acting, and so many teachers have said this. They think everyone should do a theater course, do something in regards to acting. And I mean, I've preached this a lot, but I think everyone should because you learn so much about yourself, about other people, about just kind of seeing other people's points of view. And especially in the days we live in now, you kind of need to have just common ground with everybody. I've been saying on here, we've been dealing with a lot of stuff, right? As the world kind of sits in unknown, and this is like the perfect time, you know what I mean, for people to kind of just see other points of view, and especially with theater, it's a perfect outlet to do it. It really is. I feel like everyone should do something in regards to acting.
I agree with you.
And like, it's so easy now. Like on this call, I can go into a workshop on Zoom in my home and learn more about myself by doing it over an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have the outlet to do it.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's very true. A lot of people overthink that. They're like, how am I going to get started or do it? It's like, you can literally do the aspects. You can literally find aspects of theater by yourself in your room in the dark. You know what I mean? It's as simple as closing your eyes and pretending to be somebody else, or playing, or just pretending to be in another situation. You know what I mean? It's all imagination. That's what acting is. And the reason I love theater so much, number one reason I love theater so much, is because it is a reflection to reality. It is a mirror to real life. And when you watch a show, whether it be a farce, whether it be a tragedy, whether it be any type of show, there are so many relations to real life that people can just relate to when they watch. And that's what sucks people in. That's how you engage an audience, is by showing them parts of their life without even like knowing subconsciously. You know what I mean? It's beautiful.
That's why I fell in love with theater.
Yes.
That's why I fell in love with acting, is that I could help people in the audience going through some shit that they're going through in their own life, and them coming up and just saying how this helped them or that helped them, or even not even knowing, but you hear crying or you're laughing. That's the best part about what we do, is that we could kind of heal by not really like doing much in regards to like doctors and whatnot, where they actually heal people,
Yeah,
but we heal them mentally. Whatever
spiritually.
they do, whatever they need in their own lives, they can kind of see through us, and
Mhm.
that's an incredible feeling that you only get in our business.
Yeah, that's why everybody loves theater, man. That's why everybody loves the arts. That's why it freaks me out why there's people who shit on people who pursue these careers, because it's like, imagine a world without it. Imagine a world without music and TV, like shows, movies, theater, live theater, concerts. It's like, these are all things that make us more human than anything else. Is that emotion and connection you feel when you watch a show or when you hear a song that you love. You know what I mean? I think artists need a lot more like respect and appreciation than they get, because it's sad to hear the things I've heard directly to me and directly and indirectly to me, and just about actors in general. It's like, it's a lot of misguided ignorance and arrogance. But
Well, I remember talking to Dusty about it a couple episodes ago, and he was saying that like the issue is that we also have like some toxic masculinity
mm,
in this profession, and that's
explain.
the thing. Like it's sad that like you have only one view. You know what I mean? Like you don't have multiple views to kind of this is you don't know what we really do, right? You think you know what we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well we dress up and we wear this and we wear that, we wear makeup. Okay, yes I do, and I love it, right? Yeah, I wear makeup. Yeah, unfortunately I didn't get to dress up in the opposite sex because we didn't have that when we did it in our thing, but I would have loved it, you know what I mean? Because it's a stepping stone into where I want to be, right? Doesn't matter what you want, right? What you want is whatever. But the thing is, once you come and see a show, once you go, and everyone sees concerts, everyone sees um, or listens to music, um, but you just take the message from it. Well, that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We're just doing it in a live form.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, like, don't have that preconceived notion unless you know.
I don't know why, like, where that came from though. You know what I mean? It's like so random. I think it is because like the stereotype came from most actors not being able to like generate a massive income, and like it's either like you're here or you're in Hollywood. You know what I mean? It's like, and everything in between there is like disrespect, and then it's like once you're Broadway, Bollywood, Hollywood and Broadway and Bollywood, it's like, oh yes, glorify them. And then it's like, we're all actors here. We're all doing the same thing. Come on.
And that's the thing, like we don't have that notion with film. And I feel like for some
Oh,
reason it's only in theater, and it might be because they know that in Shakespeare's time that guys
yeah,
played girls and na. Yeah,
yeah,
you're right. But like I remember Dusty saying it was like athletes from like the football or whatever will go dress up and do that. You dress up in a uniform too, buddy. This is just my uniform. You know what I mean?
yeah. And you know what's great, man? I don't know why it's great. I don't know why I said that, but me as a person who's played football for many years of my life, and someone who's been acting for many years of my life and doing both simultaneously, it's like I. T- they're not really that different from us, man. Theater, first of all, theater is a sport. We're a team and we're a unit, and we carry each other, just like on the football field. It's the same thing, and I just don't get, I don't get the hate between like football and theater. It's like, why? They're both team sports that are awesome to watch. Like, it makes no sense.
And
It makes
a lot of sports are like that, bro. Like I played soccer for so many years, right?
yeah,
And what you do with everything is you practice, rehearse, very similar. Then you go and you have a game, you have a performance, right?
mhm,
You are going as a unit to place that game to practice
mhm,
your performance later on, right? It's the same concept.
yeah,
It's just with two different things.
yeah.
But it's a great segue now from going into theater into sports? Because I know you love soccer and I know you love so many different sports.
Yeah.
So what is your, I guess, favorite sport you've done? And what really drew you to said sport?
Well, I actually kind of had this conversation yesterday with one of my good friends, Zach. But my whole life, deep in my heart, it's been soccer. Soccer is like my first sport I started playing, and like it's the sport I've played the longest. And it came from my dad. Like he introduced us to soccer, and my brother as well, and that really inspired me to love the game. And then I started following it more. Nice jersey, that's my favorite team, Manchester United. And like, I don't know, it's called the beautiful game for a reason. But then I discovered basketball, and I think starting last year or this year, it's my favorite sport to play. My favorite team sport to play, though, individually, I think as an individual, the best sport for me to have fun with is basketball, like outside on a basketball court with friends. The game I have the most sentimental value to is soccer, but the team sport I love the most is football, because as a team, there's no comparing football to any sport when it comes to connecting with your teammates, because every time you go on that field, it's like you're going to war. It's like you're going to war with them. It's a very high contact sport. It's a very emotional sport. It's a very intense sport. And like, you just carry each other, and like you're just a different person on that team. And it's the most unit oriented sport I've ever seen in my life, which is why it freaks me out why football players in general, stereotypically, hate on theater kids. They're both so ensemble oriented, because if your team has weak chemistry in any sport pretty much, but in football the most, you're going to crumble. In theater, you have a weak ensemble, like chemistry wise, you don't gel, it's going to crumble. So once I got into Abbott, taking theater a lot more seriously, I noticed so many similarities with between football and theater. It's like the unit situation and the ensemble situation, they're just mirrors. It's the same thing. So yeah, hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing, bro. Like before I was in acting, I was doing all sorts of types of sports. I was in wrestling, I was doing soccer, I was doing rugby at one point. I was doing so many different sports. But like that's the thing, like being an athlete and being an athlete in theater are very, very similar. And that's the thing, bro. Like I really wanted to get your outlook on that too, because I know that like we are athletes, and we just do it a bit differently. You know what I mean? Sure. But like that's the thing, bro. Like it's incredible. And I'm so glad that we have so many different outlets that we can kind of talk about sports and theater, because again, like the ensemble is so necessary for anything we do. And a lot of people don't see that sometimes, especially when going in firsthand. They kind of think, especially in first year, I know a lot of people just thought, oh, well, I'm being an actor. Okay, well, we have a lot of other actors here. But it's really gelling and just allowing everyone to kind of be on that same playing field.
You have to share the spotlight. You have to share the spotlight, and you have to view yourself as one. View yourself as a unit as one. I mean, because once you start thinking that it's all about you, or like you don't really like some kids, which is okay, by the way. If you don't like someone, like it's fine. Just be professional. That's when like it falls apart. You know what I mean? What I was so blessed with was the fact that my class all understood the importance of like having a good connection with each other. And on top of that, we all had a great relationship with each other anyways. So we're really blessed to have that, which is why, back to the beginning, Peter and the Starcatcher did so well. I even had someone tell me that the other week, someone I haven't spoken to in months. They're like, man, like that show I came to see, Peter and the Starcatcher, like you can see that you guys like were like really had great chemistry together. And it's like, that's what it's all about, really.
Honestly, I think that might have been one of my favorite shows I've ever saw at Abbott. And I've seen a lot of shows at Abbott. That's the thing. It was like your ensemble, man. There's something about an ensemble that love each other
Mhm.
inside and out of the theater, and just have that amazing chemistry. And that show just touched on every aspect of your guys' love and compassion from with theater and without. Like, you guys got to do rap battles, which was
Yeah,
amazing touch
it's fun.
because of Jeremy. You guys have
Yeah,
the amazing chemistry that,
yeah,
like, can't be taught. It's just,
yeah. And
that one thing that, like, is in you all was definitely shown in Peter and the
yeah.
Starcatcher.
And mad respect to I said that on a podcast. And mad respect to Rob Burns for giving us the freedom to kind of figure it out on our own in a way. Because like obviously he was directing us and guiding us, but he gave us a lot of freedom to figure out a lot of things together as a unit, which in the end, in the long term, made our chemistry so much stronger, you know? So I think that was great on his part for allowing us to become more independent as actors, and it all helped us go to the next level, to be honest. So
I love that about directors, that just allow you to kind of jump into it. A
yeah,
lot, like, I'm not going to give you much to work with. You
yeah,
do it, and then we'll come back to it. I know Jason did that. Rob did that. I know Zach does that, and, like,
yeah, yeah.
it's so great that we get so many different outlooks on stuff, bro. And you got to do 2 shows with Rob, and I
Yeah.
wanted to get your just to go full circle. We only have 2 questions left, unfortunately, but I wanted to talk to you about Laramie Project,
Oh man.
because that's where it all started, bud. That's where the connection started to completely form, and then you got into Peter and the Starcatcher, and look at you guys now. And I cannot wait to see what the future holds for your cast, bro. Like,
Yes.
amazing, amazing, man. But yeah, I want to get your outlook on Laramie Project.
Yeah, and before I say anything about Laramie Project, speaking about the future, I would definitely love to work with you again, man. To be honest, so because
Same.
you're incredible, so and you're a great guy, so, even off stage. So that's more important to me than on stage. Laramie Project. That's the first show I did with my class. We did it in the studio. We didn't do it on stage. Um, that was a heavy show. That was a heavy show. The matter in that show was really like deep and dark and real because it is literally verbatim theater. Um, my mom saw the show 6 times. My mom saw the show 6 times, and like me, she's seen pretty much almost the same amount of shows as me. And she said that was one of the most beautiful shows she's ever seen in her entire life. I think she said it was the most beautiful show she's seen in her entire life. She cried every time. And like that was when I first saw the potential of my classes, like chemistry together. It's like, wow, we really go well together, man. Like this is a beautiful class. There was singing too. Rob added a couple songs in there that like were perfectly timed and perfectly chosen. You know, some U2 and sorry, Coldplay and Pink. What About Us? Perfect, perfect song choices. And that's when my love for theater propelled quicker than ever. The first time, at least, because that's when I saw the true beauty of an ensemble and the power that it holds on an audience and on each other. So rest in peace, Matthew Shepard. Nobody deserves to go through that. It's disgusting that people think it's okay to treat others that way, just solely based on their sexual orientation, you know, and going into today's world, their race. It's like ridiculous. Nobody's better than anybody else. Like, why does it even matter what your orientation is? You know what I mean? It's something I realized during that show. Why does it even matter? Like, what kind of person you're into sexually, man? It's like, who cares? You know what I mean? One of my best friends, Vincent Bourdage, he's gay. And like, when I think of him, I don't even think about that. You know what I mean? I just think of him as one of my brothers. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. And it's so unfortunate that, you know, he went through that like horrible death, Matthew Shepard. And that show made me realize more than ever how dumb discrimination is. You know what I mean? How dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I can't add again, bro. Like honestly, that show, I do agree with your mother, in saying that probably one of the most beautiful shows I've ever seen, because of the fact that it just from start to finish, you are in Matthew Shepard's life,
Hmm.
and you are sadly thrown into this crazy world that we shouldn't even need to talk about, right? But unfortunately, we do. Um, it's true. We shouldn't have to. Reality is we're all human, right? We're all human. We all have our own, um, flaws and whatnot. But reality is that when it's a sexual orientation, like you said, who cares?
It's not relevant. You
I
know what I mean?
don't. You know what I
It's not.
mean? You love who you love. Um, Race, man, unfortunately, is still something that for some reason people still see everyone as different, and it's so fucking stupid.
It's
It really is.
a chemical.
Because,
It's
bro,
melody.
we're all human. We all bleed the same. We all feel emotion. We all, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah.
And to go into a show like Laramie Project, um, and just know that like I'm gonna have a cathartic experience. Knew it was verbatim going in. Didn't know anything about it. I think I came twice, and both times I cried. You're
That's
meant
just
to. You're meant to. Because honestly, bro, it's true. I mean, it's actually a real story, and it's
yes.
just with your ensemble, there was something about it that you can kind of see, or I could have kind of seen where stuff was going to go with you guys, because your chemistry, even back then, bro, was
That was the
starting
beginning.
to. It was going, man, and
That
then
was the beginning.
you know it's it's incredible the journey you guys have had, and just I love how at second year they just give you something that's so real.
Hmm.
Like I know with us we got Find Me and we got to do it twice.
Oh my God, I love. That was the first show I've ever seen at Avid. I was so impressed. I was so impressed. That was the first show I've ever seen at John Abbott. I was like thrown away. I was throwing it back, man. I was like, whoa, this is dope. And that was in the studio. There's something about performing in the studio that's super intimate. You know what I mean? It's like black, beautiful wooden floors. You're in this, like you're technically the audience and the state share the same space, and it's just awesome, man. Good job. You guys were so good in that show.
Thank
You guys
you.
were so
But like, bro, with Laramie too, I don't think there could have been a better place for it.
good.
You know what I mean? With the studio and like the story that needed to be told, you guys had the perfect amount of space to just connect with people. Like you were directly in front of us. You know what I mean? We felt you guys perform this. And there's
Yeah.
something about that. And I feel like studios and whatnot like that, that you're so close to the audience when it's such a real story. There's nothing that can top that.
Yeah.
Nothing.
You know what? Honestly, I'm gonna kind of sorry. Something that Laramie taught me the most, really, I don't know if I'm calling myself out in a way, is that it made me realize to some degree the impact of like offensive jokes. Because I'm not gonna lie, I have made a lot of those kinds of like offensive jokes that like I didn't think, you know, made such a big impact. But it really made me realize a lot more after that show. And I'm not perfect, you know. I say stupid things here and there, but it's like it really gave me a clear vision on like, wow, maybe I shouldn't say that even if I'm joking. Like maybe I shouldn't say this even if it like comes from a good place, you know. So the Laramie Project was such a deep show that it actually brought me to that realization. And like, I don't know if people are gonna like, I'm gonna get backlash for like saying certain things I said in my past, you know. But it's like I'm comfortable enough expressing that, you know, I've made stupid decisions, you know, as a younger kid, or like even recently, or just, you know, I'm not perfect, but the power of that show is just so incredible that it made me realize that wow, I shouldn't make these jokes sometimes, you know, or at all, you know. It's like So that's the strongest part about the Learn Me project. It's like it makes you think about what you do and say.
And I mean, a lot of people need to hear that, especially now.
For sure.
And bro, that's the thing. Like, it's one of those things that like is always going to be a story that needs to be told.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's a story that always needs to be told.
100%.
That whatever you take away from the Laramie Project, whether it be just about the sexual orientation of Matthew Shepard and how that like you shouldn't even need to discriminate against that because it's just a stupid thing, or if you now put it into today's world and talk about race with it, you know what I mean? There's so many layers to it that need to be told, and there's so many stories now that can be told because I mean the world's so fragile, but yet don't need like some of the things that we say and do we don't even realize until later on. That's the thing. It has a huge impact.
I didn't realize, like there's innocent jokes, and like there's a time and a place for some of them, but they there's just a level where like you can't pass that level anymore. It's like now that you see that real things are happening to real people, it's like you can't even make jokes like that anymore. It's like it's too real for too many people. You know what I mean? That's why it's too real for too many people. And like, it's crazy. Honestly, the fact that people can be like serious about discriminating someone based on their race or sexual orientation is just nuts. It's always been a nuts thing to me. I've never been that kind of person. That's like, I think honestly, it just roots from extreme ignorance and maybe also upbringing. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing, like the reason why now, like we unfortunately are still dealing with trying to get equality. And guys, I don't know why it was ever a thing. We should have always been equal, and I don't know why the hell that's ever changed. But that's the thing, bro. If Black lives don't matter, and I'll say it on here, if Black lives don't matter, no lives matter. You want to say all lives matter? No. I mean, all lives do matter, but that includes Black lives. That includes brown lives. That includes every life.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, bro. Like, why has this not always been a thing? You know what I mean? Everyone is human. Every single person is human. Yes, unfortunately, some people have some stupid upbringings. We'll say it. We have some stupid upbringings. And we're still dealing with it hundreds of years later. But like, bro, this is it's stupid to even like quality should have always existed. We should have always been, we were meant to be like that. We were meant to be like, we should see past color. We should see past sexual orientation, and shows like Laramie Project really brought that to light.
Yeah. See past, not in a sense to be blind to it.
No.
Like I'm not gonna be the kind of person to be like, oh, I don't see color. No, I know you're Black and I'm white, and we have cultural differences, but that's not gonna change my opinion on you.
Exactly.
It's not gonna change my view on you. I know you're gay and I'm straight, but I'm aware of that fact. I'm aware of what you like. There's lines I won't cross, but that won't change my opinion on you. You know what I mean? At all.
Exactly.
Most important is your character.
Exactly. Like if I don't like your character, that's, you know what I mean? Like
associate with you.
Exactly. But like that's the thing. Like I don't know why. Anyway, that's a whole different topic, and we can go on that for so long, bro. But like
that's another podcast, I think.
Exactly. It's definitely a whole different podcast. But I mean, that's the thing. Laramie Project was amazing, man. Yeah, that's where we were, right? Thank you. I mean, find me, man. I wish we could do it a third time. I can do that show 150 times, or even more. But I actually want to get your outlook before we go of what's going to be happening now moving forward for you. What looks in the future for Emilio? I know, honestly, with COVID and whatnot, might be a bit different than we originally thought. But what's in the pipeline for you moving forward?
Yeah, well, because of COVID, theater and film have been very slow. In the summer, I had some opportunities that I had to turn down because the protocols weren't, you know, there enough, and like there were good short film opportunities that I could have added to my demo reel, but you know, I cared too much about the pandemic and the risks a little too much because you know I am in very close contact with my mom and my grandmother. But I've been fortunate enough to find out about Resilience, the project started by Table d'Hôte. God bless Camilla Fitzgibbon. Oh, you know her so well. She was in your class. What a wonderful woman. I'm going to be in a show with Table d'Hôte. I don't know what show it is because in Resilience, you submit yourself as an actor or a playwright. And thankfully, they do prioritize theater graduates. And I don't even know what show I'm doing. So they accept the best plays from the playwrights. And what they do is they group the actors together. I'm not sure if it's random. And then they randomize the shows. And within your group, you audition for a character. So I'm just awaiting information on that. And it's going to be performed at the Siegel Center sometime in the spring or early summer. So that's my future for now. And I'm really trying to propel myself into film because I've had my full ACTRA for like a long time now. And I think it's about time for me to like get into finding a new agent because I haven't had one since I was young, you know? So I think it's time for me to do that now. You know, school is done, you know, it's time for me to go full throttle with film, to have fun with this Table d'Hôte experience, which is a professional theater company. They're amazing. I learned about them with Alicia. And, you know, I'd like to also stop being lazy on TikTok. I've been very lazy on TikTok for a few months. It's a cool app. It's a sick outlet to actors and performers and entertainers. And I have some good friends who are showing me like, dude, be persistent, showcase your talent, and you will get results. Like my good friend Oliver, who's doing so well right now. He's blowing up on TikTok. He has great videos. He's a great writer and an actor. And like I have good friends like Cameron Geller and like all these friends that are just showing me like, dude, showcase your talent with persistence, and you will be seen, and like people will see what you've got to offer. So I think that's really motivating me right now. And I've been thinking about it a lot, specifically this past week. And I'm really excited to get that going, especially now during the summer. Something about the summer and the spring that gets me really fired up, you know? So yeah, that's what I think the future holds for me, man.
Honestly, it sounds amazing, man. And I cannot wait to see you act again in a whole production. I know I love Camilla. Camilla was my first guest on the podcast 30 episodes ago. And I mean, what a way to start it off. The woman's amazing.
Yeah.
And just so loving, so caring. And my God, bro, like I really want to see you in film. I know I've done a couple of short films now, and I want to continue to pursue more film. I didn't think it was something I loved so much, but it is something that's great.
It is fun. It is fun.
It's different, but in a good way. But that's the thing. Like, yeah, bro, keep at it. And yeah, you on TikTok, bro. I mean, I've talked to Oliver to be on the podcast soon. I'm not going to say when, guys, but he'll probably be on soon. But that's the thing, bro. Like, it is a whole new outlet. It's so different now with the pandemic that like you can kind of find all these different things that we didn't even think we could use, but now we can, right? Mm-hmm. We have Zoom readings that we do theater for. We have film over a webcam. We can kind of put up lighting and whatnot and talk over this. Like it's nuts. And I cannot wait to see where your future holds.
Thank you.
Thank you. But before we go, I always shine a light on my guests. And I mean, you've been so caring as always, bud. But now it's time for me to give it back to you even more. So to shine a light on Emilio again, guys, it's going to be super, super hard. Emilio, man, you are such a caring, loving guy from start to finish. It's been an incredible time talking to you, as it always is. You make me honestly feel even better about myself. And just about theater and film, bro, you just showcase passion so much about this art and about just being a better person, bro. Like there's something about it in certain people that you just kind of see. It radiates. Um, and honestly, bro, like I cannot wait to see where your future holds. An incredible actor, an
Thank you.
incredible guy, and you just have to continue pursuing what you love, bud. I know it is different now. Don't get me wrong; it's definitely different with COVID, but you have put a smile on your face as a beginning. And I'm so glad that now you can continue that and continue catapulting into even more amazing projects moving forward.
Thank you, man.
So thank you so much for
Wow,
being on, bud.
that was amazing. Thank you so much for saying those words, dude. That means a lot to me. It's been up and down during this pandemic, and that means a lot. Thank you so much. Thank
No
you.
problem at all, bud.
You're an
And
absolute beauty.
thank
Absolute beauty. Same to
you too, bud. And
you.
I honestly, Marlene wanted me to ask you before we go, how
Yeah.
is the bread going? Because
Oh my God.
I know I needed to ask that
Bread.
too. I
Okay.
wanted to do that at the end because I want to hear about the amazing bread that you guys have been making.
Well, this all started with my wonderful grandmother, which in Greek we call yaya, means grandmother. She makes bread a lot, here and there she makes bread. And I was eating a loaf at her house, as I do. And I was like, yeah, like, this is so good. You can sell this on the internet? And she's like, okay, do it. And I was like, all right. So I made an ad on the marketplace. Like a lot of people were like responding. I was like, oh crap, this is actually like getting some response. So I made an Instagram page, and now like we're making breads like every week, homemade bread with her recipe that we like improved a lot. And like we just sell our loaves of bread and olive bread. It's the best, and it's so fun. Honestly, the main reason I'm doing this is just so I can spend more time with my grandmother. To be honest, it's not really about like starting a business. It's just I do this with her. Like I make the breads. She just mentors me there. I ask her a bunch of questions. I'm not going to work an 83-year-old woman, but like she just loves being there. Like I have a good feeling that like it might be increasing her life expectancy because it's like activating her brain a lot. She's like in the kitchen with me. I'm asking her a lot of questions. She's like, sometimes she's even helping me like form some dough with her hands. So I just think it's great. And she deserves it because she works really hard, really, really hard on a lot of other things at home. And she's a wonderful woman. She's one of the strongest women I've ever seen in my entire life. And but yeah, the breads are going well. If you want to follow our Instagram, Yayas Bread, that's YIAYIAS bread. Yeah, man, but that's us for real. Thank you for asking about that.
No problem at all, bud. And we need to share one of your loaves of bread next time we see each other, bro, because it's been way too long. But I'm so glad that we've had you on the podcast. And I mean, bro, it's always a pleasure. So thank you so much for being on, bud.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon, man. All the best.
The lights are off, the curtain has fallen, and it's time to say goodbye. Thank you all for joining us on the Little Thespian Podcast. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to ask, either down below or on any of our platforms. On the next episode of Little Thespian Podcast, we have the incredible Ali Slominski joining us on the 32nd episode of the Little Thespian Podcast. We're going to talk all things acting, all things film, all things what's to come for this amazing actress, Ali, on episode 32 of Little Thespian Podcast. I truly cannot wait, guys. And there's going to be so many more guests joining us as we hop in to spring and summer. And we're going to have some incredible things coming your way, guys, as we hop in to our third season. I cannot believe that we've already done over 30 episodes. Thank you so much, Emilio, for being on this episode of Little Thespian Podcast. And for all future guests, thank you so much for your amazing support. And the fans that love this, thank you guys. Your support means the world. If you guys want to show some more support, though, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to us here on YouTube, guys. It helps us out tremendously. Also, don't forget to ring the bell to stay notified on all future videos. There's going to be much, much more coming. Not just the Little Thespian Podcast, not just Shakespeare Sit Down, but much more. So you guys gotta keep it locked here on the channel. And guys, thank you so much for watching this video, listening. And guys, don't forget to shine bright even through the darkest of days. I know it's pretty dark right now, guys, but we are gonna be getting to a very shiny summer and spring. So guys, don't forget to shine bright. This has been your host, Matthew Crandall. We'll see you all on the next Little Thespian Podcast.